things I want to leave with you today. That is this. How did he baffle even the elders or the religious teachers? All right? Okay, we're going to examine that. It started off the explosion of his depth of understanding is when he was 12 years old. But later when he came into ministry, you find that the things that Jesus did was very different. And there are namely three areas. The way that he taught, what he taught, and how he lived. All right? That baffled even the experts in his days. It was how Jesus taught the Word of God. And the first thing that comes to mind is this, right? Is that Jesus taught with authority. He taught with great authority. Not that he was shouting, not that he was waving his hands like crazy, but when he spoke as a man that knew the Word of God, and he declared it. Jesus baffled the multitudes. It was also because he spoke with great simplicity. How did he speak? He can speak to children. He can speak to, the religious groups. He can speak to the fishermen. He can speak to homemakers and the people who work the fields. Jesus, the things that Jesus spoke was not so complicated until you need a dictionary to find what he's actually trying to say. But he speaks to them about fishing. He speaks to them about what is planting and what is sowing, what are weeds and what is growth, what is rocky ground. You realize when the seed falls upon rocky ground, and there's a lot of rocks in Jerusalem, all over. So when the sower goes out without preparing the soil, the seed has no chance to grow. He says there's rocky ground. There is the path when the people take, right, the birds would come. And there is, little soil. And how do you have good soil? So good soil to them is so important because good soil there is very rare. But he spoke with such simplicity that immediately they would understand. I try to bridge the gap of what I believe in, what I teach, what I so speak boldly on. But I know that when I compare my life with what I do, there is a gap. But if you look at the life of Jesus Christ, what he taught, he lived. And there is no gap. You look at anyone. You look at anyone on the face of the earth. You look at anyone in past history. Whatever they know or to confess to believe in, there is always a gap to tell us that we are human. But in Jesus, there is no gap. He lived consistently because he lived a life that was without sin. Even Pilate says, I find no guilt in him.